In the second segment, we'll look at the transformation of computers from huge machines that completely filled up entire rooms to desktop machines that we use today. So an MIT professor, Vannevar Bush, saw computers as extensions of human memory. He realized that they had the potential to store all forms of communication, books, and any kind of data at all, and access it quickly. So what does that sound like? It sounds like the kind of computers that you and I use today. He envisioned slanting translucent screens and people being able to purchase books and newspapers in microfilm form, ready to be inserted. It was actually a sort of a vision of the Kindle or the iPad. In addition, Douglas Engelbart saw computers as a means of linking human beings together. So he envisioned something that we would call today the World Wide Web as a way for human beings to connect. Early personal computers sold as kits, and the very first one was the Altair 8800. It sold for $379, but that was just to get the machine. In order to get the machine to actually work, all the programs that you needed, the final cost was about $5,000. Bill Gates and Paul Allen were observing this and saw the potential to sell the software, not so much the machines itself, but to sell the software to make the computers that people were buying easy for them to use. So in 1976, the two of them invented what came to be known as Windows, and actually a system before that, MS-DOS, and the history of the personal computer began. So the IBM and Macintosh era. As I said, Bill Gates and Paul Allen formed Microsoft in 1976. Within 2 years, Americans were having choices between the Apple II computer, the Commodore PET, and the Radio Shack personal computer. I'll never forget when I first went to my first job, and this was in the middle of 1980s. They were still betting on Radio Shack personal computers. They had made some investments in purchasing them for our department, and of course they couldn't have been more wrong. Gates developed the personal computer with the IBM PC-DOS software, and he sold it to IBM, but kept the copyright, which was, it has to go down in history as one of the most brilliant business moves ever made. The agreement with IBM was to put the DOS system on all IBM personal computers. During this period as well, you had Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak developing the Apple computer. The Apple II computer was a very successful home computer. It came out in 1977, but it was eclipsed by another Apple product called the Macintosh in 1993. It was released with great fanfare, and these were the computers that came in bright popsicle colors of green and blue and orange. It was truly the first affordable computer with a user-friendly interface and mouse. Gates was not about to be left behind, and he introduced Microsoft's Windows 3.0 to compete with the Mac, but to do it with the speed of the DOS microcomputer. So people saw that if they could buy a PC with Windows and a modem, they would be able to access the internet and email through phone lines and an internet service provider. So in the next section, we're going to talk about how internet has transformed human communication.